Benvenuti ad AIBT Young, il podcast dei giovani immunogenetisti. Approfondimenti, novità e voci dal mondo della trapiantologia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AIBT Young, the podcast of the Italian Association of Transplant Immunogenetics. I'm Antonio, and today we are traveling, at least virtually, to Brazil to meet a very special guest. She is a researcher at the Laboratório de Imunogenética da Universidade Estadual de Maringá. Sorry for the pronunciation, also known as Imunogen. And her name already hints an Italian connection. Dr. Isabella Fantini Molinari will talk about her roots, her career in immunogenetics, and her work on HLA alleles in transplantation. So, Isabella, welcome to IBT Young.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. It's a pleasure to be here today to talk about my journey in my research and what I do as a biomedical scientist.
Thank you again, Isabella. Isabella, your full name, Isabella Fantini Molinari, sounds very Italian. Is there a story behind it? Any Italian roots you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, you got it. I have Italian roots. My
Wow.
great grandparents on my mom's side and my dad's side came from Italy, except for one great granddad who was German, but most of my ancestors were Italian.
So, do you know which place of Italy?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I
your
don't.
connection to Italy is both cultural and scientific in a way.
Yes.
Do you still speak some Italians, or it is just in the family history?
No, just in the family story. I have a little of culture. I like to cook pasta, to cook masses.
That's great.
I like to cook, but I don't have this pronunciation, this language in my family.
Great, great. Now, what led you to pursue a career in immunogenetics? Was there a specific moment or person that inspired you, or was it more of a gradual discovery?
Ever since I was a kid, I have been into research and become a scientist. When I got to university, I got really into molecular biology, genetics, and immunology. Then, when I started my master's degree, I got into immunogenetics and I ended up being inspired by HLA. But there wasn't a specific moment or person that inspired me.
Yeah, like most of us. And you've been working in Brazil for several years now. How would you describe the scientific environment of young researchers in transplantation immunogenetics there? And what are the main opportunities and maybe the main challenges in Brazil compared to other countries?
In Brazil, the fight of immunogenetics is based at public universities and research institutes. This environment bring together established groups that are active in both research and service provision, especially in HLA typing from transplants and population studies. The research environment for young scientists has proven to be promising, mainly because of the structure offered by postgraduate programs, which enable early entry into scientific research for undergraduate studies through scientific initiation to postgraduate and postdoctoral studies. At the State University of Maringá, for example, where I've been, they're really encouraging new research with scholarships, integrative projects where young people are challenged to contribute directly to projects
Great.
of scientific and clinical relevance.
Great.
And about Brazil, né? You question. Uh, what is the another question?
No,
Sorry.
it's enough. It's enough. That's a good point. I imagine founding an infrastructure can be quite different from Europe or North America. You're right. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, one of the exciting part of your works I saw it's the identification of the new HLA alleles. Could you tell us about one of the most interesting alleles that you discovered so far, and what made it stand out for you? Was it rare, unexpected, or particularly relevant for clinician practice?
All the new alleles I have found have unique
Yeah.
characteristics because they carry an extremely rare variation that hadn't been recorded in global databases until now. This change usually happens in a single nucleotide polymorphism, where only one nitrogen base is changed, but this is enough to potentially change how peptides
Yeah.
are presented by HLA. I still can say for sure which is the most interesting, but all these findings have made the IPG-IMGT
Mhm.
HLA database more diverse and show how important it is to include underrepresented groups like Brazilian one, so the global databases better reflect the world's genetic reality.
Yeah, the HLA system is one of the most polymorphic of human genes, and we discovered more than 41,000 HLA alleles until now. So
Yes.
it is probably easy to find a new HLA alleles with the the NGS, the new generation, next generation sequencing. But you are currently focusing on confirming alleles, which I know can be a meticulous process. What are the biggest challenges in this type of research? Uh, is it more about the technical aspects or the interpretation of the sequencing results?
It's just as hard to confirm an allele as it discover one, maybe even harder. First, we need to make sure it's not a techno glitch,
Yeah.
which means we will have to retype it to
Mhm.
double check. Also, the documentation for submission to IMGT coverage must be perfect with good data coverage, reading quality, and correct nomenclature. It's a pretty detailed process that needs patient paying close attention to every detail and often working with other centers to make sure everything's correct.
And when you retype, do you use different platforms or you confirm with the one used before?
Usually, I use different platforms. I use a Illumina platform to do the first sequencing, and after we usually confirming in nanopore
Mhm.
with another
Wow.
laboratory of reference this to have this technology
Wow.
or ion torrent
Mhm.
platform.
Mhm. Perfect. Okay, Isabella, the last question. For our listener who may not be familiar, could you describe how your lab, the Immunogen, contributes to transplantation research, both nationally in Brazil and internationally? And do you collaborate with other centers or participate in global networks?
The Immunogenetics Laboratory at University State of Maringá, where I work, it's a really important place where research, extension, and service provision meet.
Wow.
Is doing really well both nationally and internationally, especially when it comes to create new knowledge, like identify and sharing new alleles with global scientific community. What's more, researchers work in Imunogen, take part in international conference and events where they share the data that's being produced in Brazil and team up with foreign institutions. This activity strengthens the genomic representation of Brazil population in global databases and improves compatibility and clinical outcomes in organ and bone marrow transplant.
Yeah, of course. Isabella, it's been a real pleasure having you with us today. From your Italian roots to your cutting-edge work in Brazil, you've shown how science truly crosses border. And thank you for sharing your journey and insights with our audience. Obrigado. And to our listener, thank you for tuning to IBT Young. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this episode with colleagues and friends interested in transplantation and immunogenetics. Until next time, stay curious and keep in touch. Ciao.
Thanks again for the opportunity to share my story, a little about my research. I hope it inspires someone out there.
Thank
Grazie
you.
mille.
Thank you, Isabella. Ciao.
Grazie per l'ascolto. Questo era AIBT Young, il podcast dei giovani immunogenetisti. L'appuntamento è per il prossimo episodio. Non mancare!